You ready for a new, brand spanking new stand-up comedian coming up on the stage?
Yeah!
Ready for that? Hold on, let's do it. Let's bring it up right away. Michael Anzalone, come on, give it up.
Thank you. So I grew up in Brooklyn. And the first time I got mugged, I was 13 years old. 13. Think of that. I guess I was a late bloomer. So I'm walking home from school, I'm heading towards the train station, and this big guy comes up to me and he says, "Give me all of your money." So I gave him everything I had. He says, "Thanks for the $1." Then I said, "You know, I need 50 cents to buy a token so I can get home." And this is absolutely true. He gave me 2 quarters. And I said, "My mom's never going to believe that I got mugged and got change." So he wrote me out a receipt. The next day, I was determined to settle the score. And I went back to school and I looked for this guy, I tracked him down, and I walked right up to him, I looked him in the eye, I said, "Hey buddy, you remember me from yesterday? Well, now it's payback time. Here's your 50 cents. So when I was about 10 years old, I used to go door to door in my neighborhood, and I sold candy bars. So I went up to this one house, knocked on the door, and this old lady comes to the door. And she looks at me and she says, "I know who you are. Your grandfather used to sell fruits and vegetables in this neighborhood." I said, yeah, that's him. She said, "I haven't seen him in probably 30, 35 years. She said, "Hold on, wait here a minute. I have something I want you to give to your grandpa." So she goes inside, comes back about a minute later, and she's holding this brown bag, and she says, "Here, give this to your grandfather and tell him these bananas are all mushy." So as I was growing up, I used to be afraid that I was going to lose my hair as I got older. And luckily that never happened. In fact, I never even went gray. It's light black. So I said to my wife a couple of weeks ago, I said, "We have so much stuff in this house. Why don't we have a garage sale?" She said, "You know, that's a great idea. Maybe you can finally get rid of that old bag of bananas." So we laid everything out in the driveway, and this guy comes by, and he picks up this old ceramic dish. And he says, "How much would you like for this fancy candy dish?" I said, "Give me 50 cents. Without a word, he just puts it down and starts moving away. I said, "Wait, was that too expensive?" He said, "No, I just have to talk it over with my wife." I said, "You know what? Give me a quarter and let's get this deal done." So he gives me the quarter, and as he's walking to his car, he looks back and he says, "Sucker, I don't have a wife." I said, "The joke's on you, that's an ashtray." So when my son was young, I signed him up for Little League. But before the first game ever started, he totally lost interest. I couldn't get him to go at all, not to a single game, not to a single practice. Whole season went by. And at the end of 6 weeks, he gets a participation trophy. I was so proud. So I recently bought a new computer. And of course, I had to set up all my online accounts, and that's such a pain because I don't remember any of my passwords. And I have to go through all these challenge questions, and they're the worst. You know what I'm talking about. What's your mother's maiden name? what was the name of your high school mascot? How come you never put the toilet seat down? And if you ask me, the questions are getting more personal and they're just getting worse. In fact, I was resetting the password for my online banking account, and it said, "In what year did you have your first homosexual experience?" I typed out, "Never." And it came back and it said, "Oh, really? Did you forget about summer camp?" I said, "Oh, shit." And it said, "Password accepted." So this morning I took a nice milk shower, and it was very refreshing. And I know you're probably thinking, how do you take a shower with milk? And it's basically what happens when your daughter doesn't tighten the cap on the milk. So last week I was getting ready for a very important meeting, and I was running late, so I said, you know what, I better shave in the shower to save a few minutes. So I'm in the shower, and when you know it, halfway through shaving, my razor handle broke. I started to panic. And then I saw my wife's razor hanging there, and I said, well, I can't use that because it's pink. But then I realized I can't show up at the meeting half shaven, so I decided to use it anyway. And I'm really glad I did, because I have never had such silky smooth legs. You don't have to take my word for it. You can check in with any of my OnlyFans. So I stopped off at one of these hot dog trucks to pick up a dirty water dog. And I went up to the guy, I said, how much are the hot dogs? And he said, it's $2 for 2 hot dogs. But if you get the special, it's $3 for 2 hot dogs and you get a free soda. I said, can I give you $4 and get a free bag of chips? He said, no, that's the $5 special. So, last week I had to go into the city, and I had to park at a parking meter. So all I had on me were bills. So I went to a restaurant and I asked, can you give me change for the meter? And they said, no change without a purchase. So I went next door, there was a barber shop, and I asked them for change, and it was the same story. They had the same policy. I went to a bowling alley. Nobody would give me change. So I went outside, I went on the corner, and I stopped a guy I saw standing there, and I said, sir, excuse me, I really need change for the meter. None of these stores is helping me. Is there any way, can you tell me, is there anywhere I could find a mugger? Thank you.
Michael Anzalone, come on! He got change from a mugger. Oh, that's funny. That is funny.